We want to go to former UN weapons inspector David Kay, who brings an interesting view to the news we've been getting in incrementally. Things like the launching of missiles so far today inside Kuwait. And David, the southern oil fields apparently on fire. What do you make of what you've heard so far, knowing what you know about Iraq?
Well, the missiles, I suspect, are the Samoods. We have information that he had actually 200, not the 120 he declared to the UN, that he had a deception plan to retain 75 of those because they had already been forward deployed with operational units and hidden. I think we're starting to see some of those being fired. The oil wells, it's an interesting issue, and particularly the Ramallah field in the south is on the line of march toward Basra. It's perfectly possible that they decided to light off a few to give them some tactical cover as the Iraqis maneuver and to impede the movement of the Marines as they move that way. We just will have to wait. It's way too early. You haven't seen yet any large-scale destruction of the oil fields, either the ones around Kirkuk or the Ramallah ones around Basra. Both are the two largest oil fields yet developed in Iraq.
David, since the El Samoods have become part of our life today, or at least attempts to do that, describe them for us, their range, their power on the target, what the munitions are.
Well, the range was exactly what was in dispute between the inspectors and the Iraqis. Various international experts reviewing them confirmed that they would go out to about 190 kilometers as opposed to the 150. So you're talking about a 92 to maybe 100-mile range for them. A relatively light but not insignificant warhead, somewhere, depending on the distance they wanted to go, maybe upwards of 500 kilograms, probably smaller than that. Warheads found were all high explosive warheads, but the Iraqis certainly have the technology and the warheads. If they wanted to try to load them up with VX or mustard gas, they could do it. It's not a terribly accurate missile, but it's more accurate than the Scud. It has a more modern guidance system. So it is, quite frankly, more of a serious threat, particularly if you're firing into Kuwait, where you've got such a large concentration of both civilians and American troops in a small area, that you could get lucky and get that silver bullet, much like you did outside Riyadh when you got a Marine Corps barracks with a lot of Marines in during the Gulf War.
Well, let me ask you this. How much of an infrastructure, superstructure do you need to fire them off, and how much of an imprint do they leave on radar if the U.S. is watching from above with a satellite? Can you get a couple off more or less undetected, or do you just give up your position instantly?
It's going to be much harder. The J-STARS has a good picture of that area. I think they've been hidden. They're mostly, they're all liquid fuel, but they've been fueled in advance, is my understanding. They're probably pre-positioned and locked in. So sure, could you get a couple of lucky snaps off? You absolutely could. I find it very difficult to believe that they get a large barrage off before the sky would literally fall on them.
All right. David Kay, former weapons inspector and a frequent guest of ours on our evening newscast. David, good to see you again. Thank you for your patience, by the way.
No, happy to be with you.
Keep safe.
Keep safe.
Okay. Thank you, David.